right? Funding sources for a large-scale lawsuit against Dr. Michel Dow and others. Um, a class action lawsuit of this magnitude would require significant financial resources. Here are potential funding sources and strategies to enforce such a case internationally. So, private legal funding and litigation financing. You have third party litigation funders, private investment firms specialize in funding high profile lawsuits in exchange for a percentage of the settlement. Crowdfunding and donations. Public campaigns could generate funds, particularly from pro life organizations, religious institutions, and advocacy groups. Philanthropic grants. Wealthy donors who oppose abortions may provide financial backing. Government and institutional support, the International Human Rights Tribunal, um, seek backing from organizations like the International Criminal Court if genocide and crimes against humanity can be proven. Apply for recognition under the UN Human Rights Violation Framework. State level lawsuits. Province or state with restrictive abortion laws could fund legal action with individuals or institutions involved in abortion practices. So they're civil and criminal asset seizures from defendants. Dr. Dell's personal assets, right? Her brick mansion, lakefront estate, retirement funds, and business earnings could be seized to fund reparations. Clare Health Center's institutional assets. Lawsuits could result in the closure and liquidation of assets to pay settlements. Canadian Government Reparations Fund. Lawsuits could demand creation of a National Victims Fund. So international sanctions and economic pressures, boycott and trade sanctions. Pro-life nations could impose economic restrictions on governments supporting abortions. Diplomatic advocacy, pressures from Vatican religious leaders and ethical medical boards to denounce abortionists. Uh, Lots more can be said about that, but we're just gonna just continue with the prospect of if this could work. So enforcement strategies for legal accountability, class action certification. So lawyers file for class action status to include as many victims as possible. So extradition requests and international arrest warrants. If convicted of crimes against humanity, Interpol red notices could be issued and revocation of medical licenses and blacklisting. Ensure Dr. Dow and others lose their ability to practice medicine globally and internationally. We do not want these doctors to be able to practice medicine anywhere in the world. Right? So this is a blacklist, a revocation of a medical license. Right? This is certainly a reasonably reasonably sound sanctioned here. But would this work? I mean, a class action lawsuit would require strong legal arguments, expert testimonies, and undeniable evidence. The largest challenge is overcoming legal protections currently in place for abortion providers. So, without these types of protections, would be a slam dunk case. I mean, the small boy or small girl, is being, killed, right, by these terrible drugs. Success would depend on changing laws, political will, and international advocacy. So, is it possible? It surely is possible. I mean, it is ambitious, but certainly, possible. So, maybe that's why all of this happened. But it sure is annoying. I mean, I wish I wish Dr. Dow was into. I wish he was a real doctor. It is rather annoying. So, this type of large scale lawsuit, I mean, it would pay out. I mean, the amount of money that one victim could see would be, anywhere from 1.8 million dollars, Canadian dollars, to 8 million Canadian dollars each, right? So the father would see that amount of money, and then the mother would see that same amount of money in that ballpark figure. So it is something to consider, and that will certainly lead people to consider maybe changing their minds on abortion. Maybe if they can get some money out of it, maybe they'd be like, well, what am I getting? This money thing is maybe will help them change their minds or something, which is very Very sad to say, but I mean, it would certainly stop this, and that's the ultimate goal. I mean, we need to stop the killing. Right? We got to stop the killing of the small boys and small girls. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. Wicked devils like this need to be put in the prison where they belong, and they have to have their medical license revoked, and the victims here, it's especially the young boys and the young girls need to be recognized, and the fathers and the mothers need to be compensated. Yes, it's ambitious, but it is not impossible. It certainly has the potential. That's why we're even talking about it, because there is some potential for reasonable. You know, yeah, it will happen. I mean, the killing will stop, and that's what's really great to understand.